All right, looks like things have slowed down a little bit, or folks will continue to join us, and that's totally fine. We're going to start out by, of course, having me share my screen. Let's get started today. All right, so welcome to the informational webinar about our Doctor of Chiropractic program. My name is Georgia Goody, and I am the Associate Director of Admission for University of Western States. Today, we'll be going over our DC degree completed in just 3 years. We've got lots of information in the following slides, but I always want to encourage you to reach out to our front office with any questions that you may have. We are always here for you. Before we get started today, want to go over a little bit of light housekeeping. So today's webinar is hoping to get you out in 30 minutes or less, maybe a little bit sooner than 30 minutes if we're quick. It's not a ton of time, but I think we'll still have time to get through everything. But if you've got a question for us, please do feel free to use the Q&A feature that you're hopefully seeing on your page. And if we have time to answer some questions, and if they're ones that we can answer quickly, we'll be happy to get to them today, hopefully. But we may not have time to get to all questions. So if that is the case, that's okay as well. And for everybody who has signed up today, we have people who are going to be giving you a call, our admission advisors, either later today or early next week after the holiday weekend. So you'll hear from us no matter what. If you are listening to this a little bit later, please do feel free to reach out to our office. We are always available by email again or by phone. Our main line, and you'll see this a few times and on the next page, is 800-641-5641. And if you are calling that number, you'll get our front desk and we can connect you with an admission counselor to help with any of those immediate questions. And then that admission counselor, very likely, will also be the person who is reading through your application, helping you assemble all of those documents, all that good stuff. So if you don't connect with them right then, that's okay. You'll certainly hear from them down the road, especially if you submit or start an application. So you can also visit our website. This is a great resource for you as well. uws.edu is where you'll want to head for more information, including some additional clips and videos. So you could do that by heading to uws.edu. You can see it at the top there, and heading to the Connect with Admissions Virtually page by clicking the Admissions tab. And then Connect with Admissions Virtually will be right underneath that. And then if hoping for the quickest way to connect with your admission advisor, you can actually email admissions@uws.edu. You should also see that there on the page, and we'll connect with you via email or phone, whatever is best for you. And then the DC section, the Doctor of Chiropractic section of the Connect with Admissions Virtually page, that is an especially helpful page. I really like directing people there because if you want to go a little bit more in depth, maybe you watch this today and you think that is all great, but I want to hear even more. Head to that page. We have got the Chiropractic Workshop Week on there, which has interviews from students, from faculties, from program directors, tons of people on there from a really great workshop that we did, has several parts on there, but that is found on there or on our YouTube page. And hey, if you find yourself thinking, wait, actually, DC wasn't what I meant to find out more about today, or I want to see another program, that's no problem. We do have many other webinars that do the same thing that our webinar today will do for the chiropractic program. They do for all those other programs. So you can find them under that same Connect with Admissions Virtually tab at uws.edu, or again, by heading to that YouTube page. All right, so UWS has had several campuses since our opening in the early 1900s. Most recently, in April 2020, what a time, the university moved to their newest campus on Northeast Tillamook Street. We have been here for right about 2 years, coming up on 2 years. It's really a wonderful building. This move doubled the size of our clinic space, expanded classroom space, and then improved Wi-Fi connection throughout the campus, especially all things that you definitely want for a school. And then if you get a chance to, maybe you're local to the Portland area, I really recommend coming by campus sometime. Come and get a coffee and take a tour. We've got a coffee shop that I've tried many times and is surrounded by some great classrooms and study spaces, offices, labs. All of it's just right there. You could also see that on-campus clinic and meet with some of the people that you would be working with day in and day out. those clinics and those classrooms, they're, like I said, all in one convenient location. So you're able to chat with people really, really easily, or get lunch with them, or pass them in the hall, because you're all right in that one place. And then, like this mentions, we're on the east side of Portland, Oregon. So if you've not been to Portland, it can be a little bit rainy in the winter, but there are tons of restaurants, outdoor activities, art, culture, great people, great places to experience. So we do have a preview day every 6 months or so. Our next one is coming up in April. So if you don't currently have a plan to come to Portland and you might want a reason to come to Portland, one of those days could be a really good reason to come and visit us. So it's right at the beginning of that spring season there. You can see the cherry blossoms. It's really a gorgeous campus to be on at that time. The neighborhood that it's surrounding, or that's surrounding the campus, so many beautiful trees during the spring, especially. So a little history about the school itself. We've been around for a while, you guys. The University of Western States is the second oldest chiropractic program in the world. It was founded in 1904. And then the university since then has grown to include more campus space. We have grown in our degree options, grown in pretty much every way. And so much bigger now than the small downtown campus that we started out in. And then we began as University of Western States, the University of Western States, instead of some of those other names that you see on there, in 2010. And this was to reflect those expanding degree options that we started offering. You can see those right here. So though we are best known for the chiropractic program, UWS also offers lots of other programs. So some of them have just been added this year, as a matter of fact, just started this year. So popular ones for chiropractors include sports medicine, human nutrition, and functional medicine, both very popular. And some of these degree options are entirely online. So the DC program, based entirely on our campus, in fall 2023, we also added the naturopathic medicine doctorate to our campus programs as well. So you may have some classes that overlap with that population, but some of these that you see mentioned on here, they are entirely online. You could do them when you had time after class, though classes do take up most of your day. We'll talk about that in just a sec. So at UWS, the approach that we are taking to chiropractic is a whole person perspective. So the Doctor of Chiropractic program is teaching students how to diagnose and treat the whole patient and figuring out what is best for them specifically. So students are receiving training in over 100 specific manipulative procedures for spinal and extremity joint adjustments throughout the body. So you'll see here that it mentions that we are a 12-quarter program, or 3 years. So this is on the quicker side for a DC program. And the entire curriculum is going to have that evidence-based approach. We have everybody coming in with a strong science background, thanks to the prerequisites that we'll talk about in just a sec. If you'd like to see more about that curriculum, I'm calling your attention to that link on this page as well. That is where you could see that in a little bit more detail. uws.edu, you'll choose from our academic programs, the Doctor of Chiropractic, and then it will have a tab there that says DC curriculum. And then your advisor may also be a good person to connect with, that admissions advisor. They will be able to give you a little preview that our academic advisors handed off to us of that first quarter. So if you do want to see what it looks like, we'll talk about the general structure in just a sec, but we could give you just a little bit more of a concrete example if that would be helpful. So UWS, we are teaching to Oregon's broad scope of practice. Oregon has the second broadest scope of practice in the nation. So that includes things like extremity adjusting, nutritional advice, exercise therapy, even minor surgery. So because of that broad scope, the program here at UWS is going to exceed the training that is required to practice in almost any other state or province. So many alumni do stay in the Pacific Northwest as a general area to stay in. We got lots here, but we do also have alumni that are all over the world, certainly all over the US and Canada. So if you would like to learn a little bit more about what that practice could look like in Oregon or other states, I want you to take a look at the Oregon scope of practice that you see there and the scope of practice in other US states. You will see that that is an fclb.org page. That's the Federation for Chiropractic Licensing Board, and they will be one of your best resources. So if you want a sneak peek, if you already know where you'd like to end up, head to one of those resources there. And then if you may be an international student, specifically a Canadian student, we've got a special counselor for you who has more resources about what practice in Canada specifically might look like for you. So that's okay if you're not looking into a US state. We may still have some helpful information for you if you reach out and connect with us. So, as we mentioned, we're on the quarter system. This Doctor of Chiropractic program is quarter based, 11-week terms with 2-week breaks in between the terms. So, that quarter system, 4 quarters in a year. So, it's flowing with the seasons. The winter quarter gets started in January. That is flowing till mid March. You pick up in April with the spring quarter, so on and so forth through the seasons. But you, while you're with us, are automatically registered for courses. So there is no individual course registration that you would need to do. As you can see there, those classes held between Monday and Friday, 7:30 to 5:30 p.m. That's a good approximation. For some of those days, it might be a little bit shorter, or you may have a day that's a little bit lighter. That's fantastic. But generally, be prepared to be busy between those times. And then some of our students come in before earning their bachelor's degree. That's totally okay if that's you. That's something that we can help with if you're interested. Students do have the option of receiving a bachelor's degree in human biology after their 5th quarter. You would apply for that in your 5th quarter. You would receive it in your 6th quarter. So you would be welcome to pursue that if you're interested. And then for those who are interested in specializing further while you're enrolled, you could do a master's program. And people, again, start to apply for those typically in their 5th quarter and complete it concurrently through the second half of the chiropractic program. That is, of course, optional, but very dynamic in supporting what you're doing once you are out practicing in the community. So our most common master's degrees that are pursued by the DC graduates, definitely sports medicine and human nutrition and functional medicine. So if you're interested in these, let us know during that phone call that I mentioned or via email or however it's best to connect with you, and we'll send you some more information or answer some of those questions that you might have. All right, let's back up a little bit. What even is a chiropractor, and what does UWS mean when we speak about chiropractic? So, when we're talking about chiropractic, we are talking about chiropractors who are portal of entry physicians. These are people who are trained in conservative, least invasive methods of care. One of the benefits here is that portal of entry, that means that you can assess and treat, or you can refer your patient to another provider, depending on what you find and what might be best for them. So, the techniques that you're using, they're going to include therapeutic techniques like manipulations or adjustments, soft tissue therapies, physical therapies, rehabilitative techniques, nutrition, lifestyle recommendations, all sorts of things that are customized to the person who is right in front of you, making sure they are getting the very best care based on what they need. I have gotten to see these techniques in use while visiting the clinic, and I think they are just amazing. That on campus clinic, it is really, really cool. You are seeing this wide range of tools and techniques that they are employing depending on what you need. And that could change from visit to visit. It could look different depending on the day, but they are equipped with just a whole bag of tricks that are really, really impressive to see. All right, let's chat a bit about some of the advantages of being in chiropractic. So, when you're weighing a career path, a lot of people are choosing to go for chiropractic because they want to make an immediate difference in the lives of their community. They want to be involved in the community, but they also want to enjoy a shorter training period. They might want lower malpractice insurance, and they may eventually want to be self employed. So, many people, especially those that own their own chiropractic office, they may find that this gives them the opportunity to have a less stressful environment and be a little bit more flexible with what their schedule looks like, since you're the one working for yourself. You are set your own hours. So many chiropractors also find that they are able to specialize by opening up their own practice or leaning in into an area of a lot of interest. And in those ways, they're getting to dive even deeper into a passion or become an expert in their field. So after you are in the UWS clinic, during the 11th and 12th quarter, students are choosing where they'd like to complete their official clinical rotation under a chiropractor of their choosing from a pre approved list. So we've got a group of folks that you can take a look at, choose somebody on there that looks good. And then during the 11th quarter, the rotation takes place in the Portland metro area, but the 12th quarter rotation, that can be completed anywhere that chiropractic is regulated. So because of this, most students do choose to complete their 12th quarter at a clinic where they'd like to practice eventually or that they may like to join after graduation. So this makes the transition out of UWS one that is going to set you up for success. It's going to set you up for continued learning. It's not a scary handoff. It's one that feels really natural, like the next step, and one that a ton of students are really excited about. So, in addition to the clinical training that UWS students are receiving at the campus healthcare center, you are also going to have an opportunity to complete integrative clinical rotations at local nonprofits. You might be at a hospital or another community based internship. So, I want to pause here again to talk about how cool the clinic is. As I mentioned, I've been to the clinic many, many times and know lots of people who have also been, and every one of them has had just a stellar interaction. You are helped every step of the way, and you get increasing responsibility as the person who's training to be a clinician and ownership over your patient as you get closer to your final internship in your 12th quarter. So you start out, not hands-on, you're just observing, you're just seeing what this client, this clinician patient relationship looks like. And then eventually you are creating these relationships of your own. So you start in your 8th quarter, 2 years in, with a hands on rotation, and you're taking it step by step, like I mentioned. So by the time you're with outside patients, you have had lots of practice in things like our open adjusting labs and with other students. We have those labs weekly. People love them. They are well utilized. So for anybody who wants that additional practice, those adjusting labs are a great way to get those hours under your belt. And then guidance from our staff and faculty who, they know what they're doing and they know how to teach it to you. So they're able to sit there with you and guide you and make sure that everything's looking great for you. So by now, I'm hoping everybody is getting excited about the possibilities of what the possibilities a program like this would hold for you. So before we get you really excited, though, I want to talk about some of the things that you're going to need to do before you're admitted to the DC program. So all of the incoming Doctor of Chiropractic students need at least 90 semester or 135 quarter credits of coursework. So that needs to include 24 semesters or 36 credits, a quarter credits of life and physical science classes. And at UWS, we do require that the science coursework include at least one course in each of the following areas. You can see them there on the slide as well: biology or anatomy and physiology, general chemistry, organic or biochemistry, and physics or a closely related topic. Some ones that you swap out pretty regularly can be seen there as well. And then at least half of the science courses need to include a lab component, please. If you're unsure, if you qualify at this point, if you're unsure about which classes you'd like to take next, connect with your admissions counselor, have them take a look at your transcript. If you have unofficial ones, that is totally fine. Official ones will be needed eventually, but unofficial ones are great to get started. And we can give you some additional feedback about the classes you have lined up, or maybe the classes that you've taken previously and how they slot in for this. So we may also have a few suggestions that we could throw out for you. So be sure to let us know during a call if this is of interest to you. And again, want to call attention to the fact that you do not need to have your bachelor's degree already, just those 90 semester credits or 135 quarter credits to be admitted. So if you wanted to, you could check out that BS in human biology that we offer. And then students, again, apply for that in the 5th quarter and then typically have it conferred in the 6th quarter. So let's talk about some of the outside support that you'll have at UWS. Uh, Outside of just your professors and your instructors. So the Office of Student Success at UWS, they are fantastic and they're supporting our campus community in a lot of ways that you'll want to know about. So they are the ones who provide the chiropractic new student orientation. They are the ones that provide academic advising and they assist with clubs. They're the ones who help with the associated student body with special events or accommodations for those with special needs. So if any of these sound like something that you'd want to connect with them about, be sure to send them an email after you've been admitted, after you get your UWS email. Like I mentioned, you'll get a chance to connect with them through that UWS email, which you get after you're admitted to the program. So um, they are just super supportive there, and we couldn't do it without them. Some other resources to mention include our free tutoring that is also coordinated through our student success folks, and then our library department. I always like to give a shout out to them because students have access to that free tutoring through the school, but that library department, if you're going it alone or you'd like some more resources independently, they can be just an incredible resource for you. So they're top notch. If you need anything, they've got tons of resources on campus and online. One of the other things I want to tell you about is that you'll also have access to discussion boards that will help you before you even step on campus. That will help you coordinate things like housing and roommates. Things like that can be done through some discussion boards that will have just the people that are in your class coming in together with you, and you can coordinate things like that. So if you are ready to apply, we recommend getting started good and early. We recommend applying 6 months to a year out. Of course, if you are, if your quick turnaround might be quicker than that, if you're thinking, hey, it's less than 6 months before I want to get started, but I think this is the program for me. Talk to us right away. We'll see what we can do for you. We do have just a little bit more time before our winter courses or our winter application close. So if that is something that you might be interested in, please do let us know. But to start your application, you are going to go to uws.edu/apply. So we recommend having things like your essay, in a separate document, or things like your resume pulled up so you're able to attach them really easily. While you're in there, you'll also need the names and email addresses for two references. So these references can be anybody who knows you well professionally or academically, but we can't have family members. They say the nicest things, but they're not allowed. So when your application is submitted, your reference will receive an email, and that email will have an electronic form that they complete. So after that, you can go ahead and make sure that things like your official transcripts are submitted to us or sent to us. Those are often electronic, but mail is great as well. Again, that resume or curriculum vitae, you'll want to attach that as well. And then once everything is submitted and all the items are received, we will take a look at it. And then if you qualify for that next step, if it's time for it, we will invite you to schedule a personal interview with us. So we do hope that you have a chance to come to Portland. Portland is wonderful. If you'd like to schedule a visit that involves a campus tour, meeting with an admissions advisor in person, or with our financial aid office, you can do that by heading to that website that you see there, or by emailing admissions@uws.edu. That email will be on our very last slide as well. So if you don't have it memorized, that's just fine. But we'll get you all set up if you do email us through there. We'd be happy to help. We also have the opportunity to reimburse you up to $100 for a hotel room or travel costs if you're coming from far away, more than 60 miles away. If you need to spend the night, we can be of help with that. So your admission advisor is going to be a key person in helping you navigate all of that and navigating what the best time to visit is. Again, we do have a preview day coming up in April, so we suggest stopping in for one of those. They're held in fall and spring, typically about 6 months from each other. April 13th is our preview day. So if anybody hasn't spent much time in the Portland area and wants to spend time, that's a great time to do it. And if you need recommendations for delicious places to eat or things to do, any of that, your admissions counselor will probably be a really great resource, or I can certainly give you a list. So feel free to reach out. So, U.S. citizens and eligible permanent residents can also apply to federal financial aid for the Doctor of Chiropractic program. To begin this, you will want to have received your offer of acceptance and then complete the FAFSA with our university code, and the financial aid office will take a look at that and be able to discuss that further with you. So, just want to highlight here, you definitely want to apply first, be admitted, because unless we have you admitted to a program, we aren't able to generate a financial aid offer. So if you have questions now, that's okay. Feel free to reach out to them directly at finaid@uws.edu or 503 847 2563. For those who are applying from Canada, you can receive aid through your province, and a member of our financial aid team will assist you with processing all of those provincial documents and getting all of that arranged. So we might be able to be of help as well, even if you are not coming from the US. Again, take a look at here. There's some great information. uws.edu is where a lot more information is, including some frequently asked questions from our financial aid folks. All right, and then we're going to wrap it up. So if this has left you with a few questions, as I mentioned, we may give you a call later on today if we've got time before this long weekend. We certainly will be reaching out after the long weekend as well. But if you have questions that you know off the top of your head, you want to make sure you get them out right away, admissions@uws.edu is a fantastic place to check out, or 800-641-5641 is the perfect place. So I will go ahead and stop sharing with you. We hope to see you soon on campus or through email or phone, but we really appreciate you spending time with us today, and we look forward to being of help with an application in the future. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day, and hopefully chat with you soon. Bye now.